Hello, wrong camera. Don't know why my camera won't come on. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Looking at my camera, but I'm not seeing my camera. All right. We're going to just try to plug it up again. All right. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Oh, here we go. All right. All right. How's everybody doing? All right, so we're back. We're back. We're back. If you missed our earlier live stream, we were talking about the Colorado Buffaloes and what the defense needs to do. And tonight we're back to talk about Shedeur Sanders. All right, so we had to give it a couple of days break with Shedeur Sanders in between because the situation is pressing on the nerves. It's pressing on the nerves. So we got to protect our peace. We got to let everything just kind of settle a little bit, and then we just come back to it with some good information, right? So if you saw the thumbnail, Shedeur Sanders is still rising. I know y'all may have heard, but for those who may have not heard, this young man has the 5th highest selling jersey in the NFL. Not just, of course, the rookie, right? He still has the rookie title. But now, out of all of the players, about 300 some odd players in the NFL, he's up there with the stars, the future legends. 26. Y'all know Mr. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, and Shedeur Sanders. Now, you can't ignore that. You can't ignore it. The NFL can't ignore it, right? And some people like, he just making the money. He's also making him money too, right? Shedeur Sanders, just like Barkley, just like Hurts, Daniels, and Josh Allen, all benefit from what all NFL players benefit from, which is called revenue sharing. It's actually one of the perks, right? You go to the league, you get the ball out, but you get to make money when people buy your jersey. Now, the flip side to that is they know that people want to see him, but the NFL is being stubborn. The Cleveland Browns are being stubborn. In fact, I think the NFL is helping the Cleveland Browns because they know they're going to take heat from Shedeur Sanders. So I think they're trying to help a little bit, right? I think I watched the Bills and I watched the Bengals and the Browns. I just watched the highlights because, of course, we're doing like a stay away, right? And I noticed that before the game, I think the power rankings for the Bills, they were at the bottom. Before the Browns, they were at the bottom. They were like 31. Well, they moved up 2 places to like 32, 28, somewhere in there. And I'm like, now, how did they move up when they lost? And I said, oh, must be the defense. Myles Garrett sacked Joe Burrows, I think, twice. And I said, wait a minute, they had the same defense last year. They had a good defense last year. They had a damn good defense last year. And the way they describe the offense is they're okay enough to not be terrible. So they moved up to 28, even though they lost by 1. And mind you, they could have won that game, but personnel selection, rookie kicker missed a 36-yard field goal. But the funny thing is, the same thing happened in Atlanta, but totally different reactions from the fan base. When it happened in Atlanta, people were disgusted. People were beside themselves. But when it happened in Cleveland, I just thought people were just like, not again. Oh, shucks, not again. Understand, Cleveland can weather controversy, such as what's coming because the league is deciding to shun Shedeur Sanders. They can weather the controversy. Why? Because they have a long-term, long-standing, loyal fan base. And I showed y'all when we talked about Shedeur last time, how they do at the tailgates, who were at the tailgates. A lot of people look like us. So they don't care about the controversy. So it takes things like losses in the games for them to be ranked last, to look embarrassing. It takes lawsuits, moving forward. Like Brian Flores' lawsuit, if he gets a green light, they'll likely, try to shovel some things around. And people are talking about Shedeur being traded. So let me say this one more time. I'm not saying Shedeur can't get traded, but for people to think that because Miami need a quarterback, but because they think Indianapolis could benefit from Shedeur, that they would just trade him. No, this is not like that. What people don't realize is there's a moratorium on restricting Shedeur's movement. There's a moratorium that he can only move when certain people say he can move, not Stefanski. Stefanski is just aiding and abetting. I'm talking about Haslam and the other 31 owners. Remember who took him off the board. So Shedeur is still under that. But despite that, he's still rising. And the league is still being stubborn and refusing to give people what they want to see. Now, aside from Cleveland fan base, the pressure is going to have to come from people outside of the Cleveland fan base, or the $100 million lawsuit turning into a $1 billion lawsuit, and one of them getting a court date to have discovery put before to the public. It's going to take something like that to shake it loose, because they're holding steadfast on holding him back. And yes, they're making money off of him, but they know he's making money too. They don't care about the money. They care about the fact that what they said is what they said. We don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Remember, he's not the only quarterback catching hell. He's just the one that we see and pay attention to the most. After the Sunday night games, people talked about Cam Ward, how he's a product of good coaching, but in Tennessee, he's experiencing bad coaching and the difference that it makes. Same thing with Caleb Williams, that what good coaching can do. So that's one of those things that makes me grateful that Shedeur is on the bench, right? Because why? Because Stefanski's not a good coach. He's not a good coach. Stefanski just put a Band-Aid system in place to keep Shedeur back. Flacco is good enough because that's how they describe it. They're good enough not to be terrible. That's what they want to roll with rather than Shedeur. So for people like that, you have to let them have what they want. And when I see our guys smiling, when I see Shedeur Sanders with his hat on backwards that some people have a problem with, when I see him being a good teammate, not being bothered, he's winning. He gonna make more money than his rookie year contract if he was number 2 overall. Only guy could do that because nobody saw that coming. And even people that knew about revenue sharing, they still didn't think he would hit the mark. And they have to divide that money amongst 32 teams, but he gets one check. So he'll likely make more money in jersey sales because of his fan base that he brought to the NFL that the NFL does not want. Let's be clear. Only the Mannings were broadcasting and calling one of the games when it was live, because that's what they want to do. Now you can see why they were trying to usher the younger Arch Manning up the ladder to number 1 so they could capitalize on. So right now they're capitalizing on nostalgia. They're trying to keep the Mannings in front of the public and keep Shedeur out the public. What does that mean? That means they either think all Black people are Mannings fans, or they don't give a damn about Black people being fans of Shedeur Sanders. You decide, but that's the reality. So yes, our guy is still rising. He's still making money. Top 5 in jersey sales, which means he's still the number 1 rookie because there was no other rookie up there. And he's already beside legends in one category. In one category. This is what the NFL is robbing itself of on the field. You're not going to tell me he can't be a Jaden Daniels and take Cleveland all the way. But should he do it for $4 million? Apparently, God said no. All right? Because that's who's saying no. Not because you're not good enough, but they're not about to pimp you out. So when you see him on the bench, understand that's where God think he need to be. That's what God think he need to be. And he has the right attitude. So yes, he's still rising. He's still making money. He's still unbothered. And Cleveland is still sorry. Right? Why they didn't put Dylan Gabriel in? Joe Flacco had 2 interceptions. Why they didn't put Dylan in? Joe Flacco was sacked twice. Why they didn't put Dylan in? They're probably not going to put Dylan in until Quinshon Judkins come back. And he was supposedly in New York meeting with the NFL. Cleveland ready for him to get to work. They want him to practice Thursday and Friday. I guess they're going to try to put him out there Sunday. And maybe that's when you're going to see Dylan. When he has somebody to hand the ball off to that makes the running back look good and you take away the attention from Dylan. Because they're trying to get him out there. So this is what happens. It shows you the difference of when they want you and when they don't. They're going to go through hell and high water and likely been doing it behind the scenes for Quinshon Judkins, but let's not get it lost. The reason he hadn't signed and it took him so long to get to this point is because they try to take his guarantees. He ended up getting his guarantees, but you see he had to fight for them. But there are certain people, they don't even have to fight for the guarantees. And if they had a supposed domestic disturbance, even if it was fake, you wouldn't have never known about it. But Quinshon Judkins was holding out at the time. And maybe they thought they was going to get him because he was vulnerable like Isaiah Bond. But he wasn't. He stood his ground. And from what I read, he got his fully guaranteed contract. That's what they were trying to take away. Basically by saying what? Well, we got to investigate. Well, if the DA says there's nothing to investigate, what the hell are you investigating? But did they investigate pink powder? No, they didn't. But somebody else is, from what I read. So they pick and choose. And if you're a black quarterback, you don't get chosen like that. You don't get chosen like that. And I think it's interesting. Pat Mahomes is not even up here. Even Lamar Jackson is not up here. Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. They just won a Super Bowl. So that makes sense, right? Why is it that they don't have the most primetime games? Because Pat Mahomes and the Dallas Cowboys does. Preference. Right? That's where preference come in. Then you got Jaden Daniels. Oh, Shedeur has to sit and wait. Why? Jaden Daniels didn't. They don't like when you say that. They don't like when you say that because they didn't expect for that to happen. They were so busy having Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud sacked excessively, trying to prove that first year round draft picks, first year starter, first round draft picks, quarterbacks don't need to start. They're not ready. Then Jaden Daniels sneaks in to the right. And just like why they focus so heavily on holding Shedeur back in the draft, Spencer Rattler still got in. But guess who ranked number 32 in the power rankings? The Saints. After they ran out and got a third quarterback. The NFL is taking all the fun out of football. I just want to see some football, right? But instead, I see what they're doing to Spencer Rattler. I see what they're doing to Cam Ward. I see what they're doing to Shedeur Sanders. But he's not bothered by it. And that's a message for everybody coming behind him, including Kaden Salter at Colorado, right? You were brought in to be the guy. Shedeur was supposed to be the guy. 3/4 of the way, he was going to be the number 2 pick overall until about May 5th, May 10th. The draft was what? May 24th, so 2.5 weeks out. They flipped the script, right? And what's happening in Colorado? Caden was supposed to be the quarterback, but it looked like they want to flip the script, right? So Caden should learn from Shedeur because, like I said, they're in the same situation. You're somewhere where you're not wanted by certain people. There are people that want Shedeur to play, and honestly, you might see Shedeur. Don't be surprised if he pop up in the Ravens game, right? Because if Shedeur look good, the Lamar Jackson look bad. And if Lamar Jackson look good, then Shedeur look bad, right? Which is probably why Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the true 5th round pick that they had 2 years ago that's no longer in the league, they threw him into the fire against the MVP, Lamar Jackson. Don't get lost on the fact that they 2 black quarterbacks. Don't get lost on that. And we see Lamar Jackson the Ravens just can't seem to get together over there. So let's take a look at the game so you can see who the Browns really are. Like, the stats, right? So y'all know I always dive into the stats. I watch the game. I waited until today, until I scheduled the podcast to actually lend my time to the highlights, and the highlights had a million views. I was like, that's a lot of people that's probably not watching the game, so they're gonna watch the highlights. But I waited until today to watch the highlights. So let's share my screen so you can see what I see. Now, the Browns play the Ravens next, okay? Um, and we just sat together at What She Said Sports Lounge and had a virtual watch party of that situation. So we kind of know who the Ravens are. And I said, drop your score prediction in the chat for Ravens Browns because I expect, even though the Ravens lost to the Browns, I still expect the Ravens to mollywop, as they say, uh, the Browns. And here's why. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. That's the Ravens. This the Browns. Oh, that's their depth chart too. We'll go over that. Shadeur's still in the same place. I don't know why anybody was surprised by that. Okay, so as you can see, the Browns lost by 1 point. But let's look at how that went down. Let's look at the vibe in the stadium. Remember, I think they were at home, and all in home games are sold out. 65,000 people, I think, were in attendance. I believe that's what I read. And it said the Bengals scored first. So that meant the momentum was high for the away team. That means the momentum is low for the home team. Same thing. Cincinnati Bengals scored twice, but then the Browns get going and they get, a touchdown and field goal, right? Then after the half, Cincinnati comes back and scores, then they score. They get a 6-point, but as you can see, they missed the extra point. So that was one clue right there that they was going to have some kicking problems. And then they get to the end and nobody scores, right? So just 17-16. So the way it was set up, with last 2 minutes on the clock, they kicked the field goal from 36 yards and the guy missed, just like he missed this extra point right here. Unless this was 2 field goals. So when you look at it, it looks ho-hum, right? It looks like Cincinnati had their way, and a little bit to me, it shows that in the fourth quarter, Cincinnati decided not to do much. And when I look at the stats, you have to either think that the defense for Cleveland is damn good, or what the hell is wrong with the Cincinnati Bengals. And in my opinion, and in my honest opinion, this is where the help comes in it. They treated this game, in my opinion, the Bengals did, as if it were a preseason game that did not matter. When you look at the Bengals only had 141 yards in the air. Remember, they went to the Super Bowl, and you don't get there with 141 total yards, to 327 by the Browns. Then on passing 95 yards in the air. So you only got to throw the ball 95 yards. Well, how many times was he set? Like, was he not able, Joe Burrow, to stand upright and throw the ball? That's the question, right? Then you got Cleveland, look, they just over here doing it, right? They just slaying the ball, 278. You would think the score would be like 35 or 36 or 40, right? With all of this yardage, right? So then you have the rushing yards. The Bengals didn't even rush the ball. So again, either the defense is for Cleveland is that damn good, or the Bengals didn't really try. And when you get over here to the Browns, they ain't have much going on either. So either they wasn't really worrying about running the ball because they got 278 yards in the air. And then when you look at the yards per play, it says right here 2.9 for the Bengals. That's low for a former Super Bowl winning team. That's not dominant at all. And then 4.6. So it's like the Bengals took a back seat to the Browns when you just look at the numbers. But you would think the score would be higher, right? So either they didn't try or it's the defense. So when it comes to first down, they had 22 first downs. 22. So only 16 points, 278 yards, but 22 first downs, and all you could get is 16 points? This all you could do? With 278 yards in the air, and 22 first downs, this all you could do. 16. That's all you could do. third down efficiency, fourth down. They had the ball down there 10 minutes, 9 to 10 minutes more. And at 16 is all they could do. Penalties, 7 of 53. Not that bad. Not that bad. They didn't lose the ball, but they did have 2 interceptions. And as you can see, the Bengals didn't do too much. I mean, you think they would have what they wanted to come and get plus 2 interceptions, right? So 17 plus 2 interceptions. So did they only capitalize off the 2 interceptions, meaning they had a lackluster effort, or is the Browns defense that damn good? Because they only moved up 2 or 3 spaces from dead, almost dead last to number 28. And you would think if the Bengals defense is that good, that I could hold back a valiant effort by the Bengals, that they ought to be like number 20 or something, right? They damn near have about the number 10 defense in the league. But that's probably not it. They didn't try. That's the lack of effort. The Bengals treated this like a preseason game. Like, oh, it didn't matter. But then over here, let's go over here to player stats. They only had 1 quarterback. Joe Flacco, 31 of 45. That's 68%, just about. 290 yards, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. Now, I heard people making excuses for the interceptions. He was sacked twice. So think about watching somebody throw 2 interceptions and be sacked twice. That's 4 negative events, right? And I only got 1 touchdown out of 290 yards that I did complete. 1 touchdown. I had 4 negative events and 1 positive one. I threw the ball 45 times. Tell me that don't sound like practice. Let's see how many times Joe Burrow threw the ball. 23. So Joe threw the ball 2 times more than Flacco, and they lost by 1. If that don't tell you everything you need to know, whether the Bengals defense is that damn good, I mean, the Browns defense is that damn good that they can hold back the former Super Bowl winning Bengals to only 17 points after 2 interceptions, or they wasn't trying, or the Bengals wasn't trying. But let's just say the defense is good. The defense is good. The Bengals just trash. And all they have on offense is 16 points. So that tells you, if this continues, their season is going to be defense dominated. And that is the kind of offense that Kevin Stefanski runs. Kevin Stefanski only wants a game manager. That's what Dillard is. They have more hope for Flacco. But the hope is when Quinshon Judkins come back, Dillard going to pass the ball off, right? And then we'll get to the rushing yards. So not much happening. And I feel like they just didn't want the Bengals to outshine. But then again, maybe the Browns defense is just like that. So you think they ought to be a little higher up in the rankings. So we have on the running backs, 12 carries, 29 yards. See, they didn't really do much. So you can see it was mostly an air game. That's why the 45 completions and attempts. But I only got 1 touchdown out of all of that. Out of all that work, I got 1 touchdown. So that's the lackluster offense, right? As you can see, let's see the receivers. Jerry Jeudy, 5 of 66. Now, second on the depth chart that we're going to take a look at, I don't see him. He didn't play in this game, is Gage. Gage is on the depth chart right behind Jerry Jeudy. So if Jerry Jeudy go out or go down, Gage should rise to the front. So Dylan Sampson is running back. And Harold Fanning Jr., he a rookie. Y'all know his name, right? He has 7 receptions for 63. And he's about 9 yards. Now, I noticed David Njoku had 3 of 37. But even with only his 3, now he's the first stringer. So I don't know why he would only have 3 receptions. I know he's a tight end. But if you get 12 yards per carry, somebody needs to throw you the ball a little more, right? So that's the running back right here. I know why he's like that, because he ain't a receiver, he a running back. Fanning is 9. He's a rookie. Tillman is 10. and Njoku was 12. So you would think he would have got the ball more. So, maybe that's what the 31 or 45 was about. And then on defense, now we just looked at this for Colorado. We talked about the numbers, and now you can see if you're in college and you're at Colorado or any other school, but if you're at Colorado and you're getting ready to play U of H and you have an inability to stop the run or something like that, if you want to get to the NFL, you need to come over here and look at these guys' numbers. You need to do better than this in college to get here. Myles Garrett had 5 tackles and 2 sacks with 0 assists. So if you at the bottom with all the ones and the zeros and the zeros and the ones, how do you expect to get drafted and get to the next level? This is what you need to be looking at. You need to be over here looking at this, going, well, damn, I at least have this or twice. So when we had Reginald Hughes with 9 and 2 assists, 9 tackles and 2 assists, and you have Martavius French, they're going to be up here. Their name's going to be right here. They're going to get some looks for some people. Because if you can almost double the production of something in college, they expect you to be where Myles Garrett is in the pros. And that's what you want. That's what you want to strive for. So it's not like the defense was just out here, just killing it. It's just, they was out here making plays. But it don't look like they had to try that hard, right? Let's see what the Bengals had on defense. Let's see what they did. Now, I don't know any of their people. 8 of 2. You see, he has 8 tackles. You see? So that tells you what I said. The Browns defense is okay, right? Two sacks. But if Myles Garrett was the leader, then that tell you they wasn't going full steam ahead. That's not why they only had 17 points for the Bengals. They wasn't trying. They weren't trying. Because this guy over here got 8 tackles and 2 assists. And then that's where the 5s and the 4s and the 3s started. So Demetrius was out here balling. Everybody else kind of was just hanging back. So like I said, they treated this like a preseason game. And I think, honestly, they did this because they wanted Flacco on his first outing to look good. They didn't want him to look like trash, per se, because why? People would be screaming, put Shedeur in. I'd be like, no, don't put Dylan in. See, I'm not going to scream for Shedeur to play. Because Flacco was sacked twice. I'm not going to scream for Shedeur to play. I'm screaming for Dylan to play. So this is their karma. Their karma is the Bengals gave 50% effort and you still lost. That's the karma. You still lost. And if you look at the faces of the fans when they lost, as opposed to when the Falcons lost, the Falcons fans were livid. Why? Because we're supposed to win. They're supposed to win down here in Atlanta. You're not supposed to lose by kicking a field goal. But in Cleveland, it's just another day. That's the karma. It might be okay to have fans that just show up regardless, because maybe they ain't got nothing else to do. And you like the Rolls Royce of events in Cleveland. So everybody want to show up so they can say I was at the game because, that's like a status symbol. But you don't have any respect. And that's your karma. You don't respect Shedeur, and nobody respects the Browns. That's your karma. So hold this L. So our guy, despite them being held back, is still out here unbothered, enjoying his NFL experience, enjoying his newfound friends, living the dream he always anticipated. And I bet you good money, Shedeur understands that he is right where God wants him to be. And he's not missing anything. He didn't lose anything. And they don't owe him anything. And he's in the position QB3 for his own protection and God's glory. Because I don't see the way we see God covering Shedeur, God letting Shedeur go out there for $4 million and be pimped out. I don't see it. Or sacked mercilessly. I don't see it. So enjoy when you get to see him. Cheer him on. Do whatever you want to do. But he's going to be right there until guys say otherwise. And that could be, he could pop up in the Baltimore game, or he could we just hear that he getting traded at the end of the season. But you're going to have to be happy with whatever God decides, because that's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. So let me see what y'all are saying about our king, our guy, Shedeur Sanders. And feel free to drop the T if you have some new info since I started going live. Hey, everybody. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, yeah, we had a little music, just some New Orleans music because of the thumbnail. Hey, RD, how you doing? How you doing? It said, God don't like ugly. Zach Davidson, the Buffalo Bills tight end, involved in an altercation with Shiloh during a preseason game, was also waived. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And I think he knew he was going to be. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Hey, Gail, how you doing? It said the Cleveland Browns is in the FAFO stage for now, and it's not going to get any better. I totally agree. Let me just give you your crown 22 facts. All we are going to see is God put his foot down where Shedeur is concerned. They just knew they were going to win that game. And they had egg, and I'm talking about Kevin Stefanski, on his face. And even with the Bengals at 50% effort, and I even heard them talking about it. Stephen A. say, oh, this was just like an anomaly. This is a one-off. I bet it was. So Joe Flacco can get out there and throw the ball 45 times and look like, oh, we don't need Shedeur. But did that work like that? No. Bengals went half, and they still lost. So now we got the Ravens. The Ravens coming up next. That's going to be a sight to behold. They rushed for 200 some odd yards. Even if Lamar Jackson is at 50%, hell, they ought to let Tyler Huntley play. I hope the score get up to 45-0 and Tyler Huntley come out there and put some on him. I sure do, because he didn't want to come back to Cleveland, and I don't blame him. It said, good evening, good evening, good evening. Only a rookie. Yep, only rookie in the top 5 selling jerseys. That's right, Kimberly. That is right. Our guys out here killing it. Hey, Queen, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I was throwing stuff at my TV when ATL missed that field goal. Yeah, Marlon. Ooh, Atlanta was not happy. I'm telling you, it's like night and day when Atlanta missed the field goal and lost and didn't win the game, and when the Browns lost. Yep, like night and day. Can't stop God's plan. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's that offensive coordinator does not like Caleb, point blank, period. Oh, you talking about in Chicago? Let me know if that's what you're talking about, Nicole. It said they did Justin Fields the same way. Right. And I told y'all, remember, before the season started, somewhere after preseason at a 53-man roster, they paid their D3 QB back up $10 million. They coming for Caleb. They need somebody else, another black quarterback who was recently drafted. They need his job to move on out the way. It don't have to be a recently drafted person. You can go get somebody that's been around forever. But the point is, I'm coming for the guys with the QB1 spots. So rather than Shedeur fight to get there, and next year they turn around and take it away from him like Anthony Richardson, which is highly embarrassing. It's better off for Shedeur to be QB3. And DTR is gone. Normally, the black quarterbacks, they move them around, make them journeyman, give them 4 years. They doing 2. They're not even letting them get the benefits. Shedeur is winning because he has multiple streams of income and endorsements, right? And he's not bothered by what they're trying to do. Understand the humiliation part, the racial component of this discrimination. The racial part of it, the part that is not about trying to teach him anything, is not trying to humble him. They know they can't do that. Y'all know why they said Shedeur was entitled. Nobody ever really wondered what they meant when they said he was entitled. They wasn't talking about his chains. Jackson Dart got chains. They wasn't talking about his legendary hat. You know what they was talking about? The fact that he called his own plays and changed the offense at Colorado. He thinks he's entitled, and nobody cares who your daddy is. And you're going to find out what it's really like inside of a real NFL locker room. That's why they treating him like that, holding him at the back so he don't have no decision-making ability. Because I was watching a game and I watched the quarterback call a different play. It wasn't Colorado. It was in the NFL. And I said, this is what they don't want Shedeur to do. They don't want Shedeur to be out there and he choose to throw to receiver X when the coach want to throw to receiver Y. When they say he's entitled, it's because they said he chose had a determination in who the head coach or who the next coach was going to be. They're talking about the offensive coordinator. They're talking about what happened with Sean Lewis. They're saying it only happened because he's entitled and nobody cares who your daddy is. That's what that is about. So they're not trying to teach Shedeur a damn thing. They're trying to tell him the way you change plays at Colorado under Pat Schumer, you're not going to have the opportunity to do that over here. We're going to make sure you don't even get to the front of the line. We're going to sit you down on the back and you're going to pay for it with your career. That's retaliation, but that's what it is. And I know that there's text messages out there to support it because they didn't use telemetrics or telepathy to try to come up with the plot. You could just look at the things Schumer said and look at the things Stefanski said and how Shedeur is being treated and their connection and where Schumer worked to know that's why they said he was entitled. Get that entitled so-and-so out of here. They didn't like him coming to the league thinking he was going to have the same kind of power and influence at Colorado because nobody cares who your daddy is. Then I saw some hater on Cleveland talking about Shedeur wearing his cap backwards. Right. That's just the same thing. They did the same thing. Colin Cowherd dragged Shedeur under the table during the combine because he wore his hat backwards and was crickets when it came to Jackson Dart. Just crickets. And that's the whole thing of this Jim Crow that I keep saying people don't realize that's what they're trying to tell you. You can't do that. How many people did you hear say Shedeur's a quarterback? He have to move differently. Nobody ever told Johnny Manziel to move differently. Did anybody ever tell Baker Mayfield with his little celebration to move differently? No, they only did that to Shedeur because you're black. How dare you? When you're black, you're supposed to come in and be quiet. You're supposed to come in and tiptoe so we don't see you. You're not supposed to make no noise. We're not supposed to know you're on a team. You shine when we shine the camera on you. You don't beckon for celebrity for yourself. They knew they didn't want to get Shedeur because they knew when Shedeur came to the league, he already had 3 million fans. He was going to end up before. They think burying him on the depth chart is going to bury his celebrity. But what do we see over and over and over? He still rises. He's making money. And he's unbothered. That's the biggest part because when he first got there, he was bothered. He was uncomfortable. He ain't uncomfortable no more. And that's the way it should be. But for people like Colin Cowherd, the trash Shedeur, because we wearing his hat backwards, they just running the same damn thing from the draft. But I bet they don't have nothing to say about this right here. They want to talk about his hat, but they don't want to go and identify old boy right here. You see? This is what they need to be talking about. This was part of the humiliation. They would have never done this to a white quarterback if he had his hat on backwards at the draft. They would have never done this to a white quarterback and say that he's entitled because he called his own plays when Peyton Manning, when his head coach, who was black, would send out the field goal unit, he'd send them back to the sidelines. So you're trying to tell this younger generation why it is that Shedeur can't make influential decisions, but Peyton Manning and Ryan Staub can. I'll wait. Jim Crow. Cleveland is terrible. Yep. It said Cleveland blows. Yep. It said they could sell Manny shirts. What kind of Manny shirts? That's crazy, Brian. Perfect timing. That's it, Nicole. It said the BS now with MF Clown reporters is Shedeur wearing his hat backwards with sunglasses. We're going to make a video with all of the other wearing hats backwards. Yeah. I'm like, they just don't want Shedeur to shine. That speaks to what I just said. They want you to come in and be silent and not be seen. And they don't even want you to be seen or heard. They want you to just be invisible, go out here, make me some money. And now, and see, that's why they have the attitude. We don't even want you to make us no money. We'll get it ourselves. We good with the money. That's how you know they don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. Because everybody else gonna come in behind him tiptoeing. They don't want people who have an identity, who know who they are, who have endorsements like they do, who fans are gonna flock to. They want to pick somebody and force them on to the fans, and the fans respond. Think about it. Why is it that Colorado is one of the only fan bases who showed up to the NFL with its players, and they have aunties and uncles and people everywhere? You don't see no other college doing this. Why is that? You don't think that's strange? You don't think it's strange that you don't hear Ohio State all over the place about one of they or two of their people? It should have been like that. It should have been like that. But the league doesn't make the connection. We Colorado fans did this ourselves. We decided, took the initiative to follow our players to the point where Colorado social media has a pro buffs segment that they put out with, and they don't just do Coach Prime pro buffs. They're now including all of the buffs that are currently in NFL, and that's fine because that's what they're supposed to do. But why they just not doing it? Because we started a trend. And the NFL don't like it because it feels like to them, we're trying to tell them who's who. Of course we are. The NFL doesn't want the fans to matter. And they definitely don't want the Black fans to matter. Until they think they can find somebody and put them in a bad light, that's who they want to hold up. But behind the closed doors, they want to take advantage of them. So Shedeur being QB3 is more of a blessing than it is a negative because the NFL ain't right. And he could get hurt. Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times. He's likely going to pay for that at some point in his life. I'm not sure if Bryce Young can overcome it. I'm not sure if CJ Stroud can overcome it. I'm not sure that Justin Fields can overcome it. But you best believe if Shedeur was QB1 and they didn't want him there, he would have been treated like Vince Young. And then he too mentally would be somewhere suffering. So be happy when you see him happy. That means he's unbothered. I thought the same thing. I'm like, if Shedeur didn't go give the field goal kicker a little pep talk, then what in the world did they see? Right. You know, my thing is Shedeur is just a great teammate, but they don't want to admit that. They just want him to sit down and shut up and be invisible. And he's not gonna do that. His aura ain't gonna let him do it. And that's what kills them. It kills them that players are coming into the league. He ain't gonna be the only one. It's the fella named Primetime JJ. And I know he is not a quarterback. I get it. He is not a quarterback. But the point is, they're not going to tell him what to do. That kid had so many people waiting and screaming and hollering in line for him for hours to sign something. I never saw anything like that myself. Nobody. I've never seen anybody in college with that type of fandom. And you want to quiet this guy right here. It's because he's a quarterback. And now that the Arch Manning can't work out the way they wanted to, they trying to find somebody else. But then another Black quarterback is rising. He played for Arkansas. Y'all told me about him before. They calling him the next Heisman winner. I said, okay, we're going to have to keep our eye on him. Because if they want to make him the Heisman winner now, they already know where they want him to go. And Cleveland got the number 1 pick. So we shall see. Because before Manning bombed out, all you heard was he was going to be the Heisman winner. But now that it's not working, they went and found somebody else. So now you want to know, what you trying to set up now, right? Are you trying to rig it to, since Arch Manning can't go first, he still go to Cleveland last, and Cleveland going to trade this pick just like Tennessee didn't want it? Just like Tennessee didn't want Cam? Yeah. This is how they conduct business. Supercomputer needs a step stool in the pocket. Facts. That's why they waiting on Quinshawn Junkins to come back. You see, their running backs didn't have no serious passing rushing yards. Let me see how many they had. They rushed for 49 yards. So that tells you why you hear Quinshawn Junkins is coming back. He gonna practice Thursday, Friday. We don't know if he gonna play. Stefanski talking about we're gonna take it day by day. They trying to get him out there. They know they need him. That's why they gave him that fully guaranteed contract. And I'm proud of him. Because I said, oh, they want to still investigate. They're going to come for his guarantees. And he said, the hell with it. And that's what you're supposed to do. So he got his guarantees. Now they're gonna have to move on. They try to use those guarantees like puppet strings for these guys. A video with the player wearing necklaces like Shedeur, even Jackson Dart. They always want to treat. Yeah, Jackson Dart with jewelry. They also say he was up there running through the toll booths and didn't nobody say nothing. When Shedeur was getting tickets, he was getting tickets. Said nothing. It's that they say they don't want a QB like Shedeur, but they wearing chains and shaded and trying to have swag. Right. Exactly. And the crazy part is, what do they sell in an NFL shop that every team that I've seen has one? Tampa Bay has it. I know the Falcons have it. It's a big chain with the logo on it. So they took the culture that they claim they don't want to see and used it and profited from it. Isn't that what I say they're going to do in Colorado? We're going to take all this here culture pride and put together. And once we get the relationships in place and we let it run for a year or two, we got it from here. Oh, we don't like your chains. But then now you selling chains in your shop and fans love it. It's not the chains they don't like. It's the fact that people gravitate towards Black players that they did not handpick to be celebrated because they picked the Mannings. That just seemed old and stodgy to me. And honestly, I got news for them. I was on TikTok. I said I was gonna start sharing some of the stuff. I started sharing it in my stories on Instagram. Honey, the ladies, they have something called WAGs, where you can, if you a wife or something, girlfriend or whatever, you could go there and get all your boots. Like Travis Hunter's wife, she had the 1 and the 2 on some blue boots. And then I looked on TikTok. I don't know how I think I had a video of her already. And I was looking at her boots and somehow I ended up on TikTok. It is so much of the women doing the outfit of the day, hashtag OOTD. What we see Janiyah does, Janiyah from LeJonte's girlfriend. Baby, that's the tip of the iceberg. Every other, if you click on one of them, the algorithm gonna send you everybody. All these women got, I'm the girl. It's a little soundbite. I'm the girlfriend, and they got their little outfits together, and they sitting down sewing the name Daniels on the jean with the Miami Hurricane. Baby, they coming in. They coming. These Black women, they got their outfits of today's together. They got the jerseys being made. I'm like, oh, I want one of those. They got the jerseys being made. Where they, and you know exactly who to go to get it, right? People were suggesting Janiyah. She started herself a business, because she makes her own. But there are people, these are women, they are specializing in this, and there's so many women doing it themselves or lining up to get it and buy it that I saw the boots everywhere. I was like, wow. And when you see that many, and it's happening in the NFL, and now the girlfriends are doing it in college, and now the fans are doing the OOTD with the stuff that they buying, similar to the wives and girlfriends. Like when I showed y'all that video with the Browns tailgate, that was Black people. Black people barbecuing, Black people on the stage, Black people getting dressed, Black people getting up their coffee at 5 a.m, out there line dancing, doing the Tamia line dance. That's Black people. That's Black people. And the people I'm talking about on TikTok are also Black people. Whether it's the NFL, whether it's college, whether it's fans, whether it's girlfriends, Black people are not, they like, look here, I don't care what the hell you got going on, but this is my outfit of today. This is my outfit of the day. They spending money, but this is what the NFL don't want. Because then when we show up, we got something to say about how Shedeur being treated. So this is why you see the Mannings calling games, which is the old to nostalgia, whether it's his daddy in the passing academy or the nephew coming out. All you need to ask yourself is, now since the Manning them bombed out already, who career they finna mess up like they did Shedeur? That's the real question. And honestly, people want to know why the guys don't turn away from it. They're not going to do that because it's been ingrained in them for so long. You have to start with the little kids playing pee-wee ball. You have to show them that college is where it's at. And you can get that NIL money. And shout out to Destroying. Y'all know who Destroying is, right? Destroying just opened two or just bought two Fat Tuesday chains in Tempe, Arizona. Never set foot on NFL field as a professional athlete. Was told by the NCAA to choose his minuscule college scholarship or his YouTube revenue. And he chose YouTube. And people were like, man, that's sad. He never got to be an NFL player, but he's in the UFL. And he's also an investor and he making bank. So much so that he could buy not one, but two Fat Tuesday franchises in Tempe, which is a college town. Shout out to Gunner, who not only has a 7-on-7 team that has played at the Rose Bowl, who started a run club after fitness became his healing. He now has an Under Armour endorsement, and he has never been an NFL player. They coming at Gunner for everything. He's the perfect marketing tool for them, and he's not an athlete. So for people, if you say you want to go to the NFL because you love the game, like Shedeur loved the game, then I get it. And you got to wait on God to make it safe for you. You got to wait on God to pick the perfect place for you to go and the perfect timing, because if not, they're going to set you up and you're going to get hurt, especially when you're a king of the quarterback, when you're a king of the NFL, which is the quarterback. It said Janiyah. It said Jalen or Jerry's. Jerry's World will always be on TV, win or lose. Facts. And it tells you that it's rigged, right? He's the highest grossing, he's the highest valuation franchise. That man can do what he want to do. Black QBs can't read defense. That's what they say. And now Pat Schumer over there with the same cerebral type dog whistle. It said Cleveland knows Shedeur is good. That's why the coach will not develop him. Just hold the Shedeur hostage. Right. They trying to agitate him. It said then next year, get another quarterback. Then they will cut him. Right now they're already talking about when they trade him, they need to trade him for a 2-for-1. Get 2 players for him. That's what they're saying. They're already talking about the draft trade because they feel like he's not going to play. But we're going to see what guys say about that. He could play. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him in the Ravens game. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, because they've been trying to set him up this whole time. They set up DTR with the Ravens, and I personally think they can set up Shedeur with it. And they, in their mind, it's a 2-for-1. Either I'm going to humiliate Shedeur or I'm going to humiliate Lamar Jackson. Don't be surprised. It's that the NFL want to see Cam Ward and Shedeur be against each other. They want to see, yep, I agree. I'll take that, Nicole. It said, will Juju be gone in 2026? Here's what people don't understand. They're not just advocating for Ryan Staub to be the starter. They're advocating for Coach Prime's decisions to be overturned. Juju is one of those decisions. Ryan Staub is a sophomore. Caden is a senior. It makes sense for Caden to be a senior, play this year, and get the hell on. And then you would think that next year Ryan Staub or Juju, right? Coach Prime didn't put Ryan Staub in his equation, and there are people that are upset about that. So they know that, see, a lot of people are looking at it, oh, this just about Caden and Juju. I'm like, Julian Johnson Law, the man, he know what he's saying. Black people underestimate Jim Crow. Baby, they're 2 steps ahead of you. This is about overturning Coach Prime's decision where Caden and Juju are concerned. They want Juju to be the backup. Juju ain't finna be no backup. His daddy did not have him to graduate from high school early so he could sit on a pine for 2 years. Not when Bryce Underwood is out here playing. So yeah, you're going to lose. And this is why it is important what Coach Prime's decision is. But it's even more important for people to respect it for the second time. Because if Coach Prime goes back on Caden Salton, I believe he already has, because I saw Caden's story today. And it looks like, it ain't good. So that means they're not telling, but the reporter was probably right. And even if they're rotating, he's not happy with that, because that's not what it was supposed to be. And for people that say he didn't play that good, he was set up just like Shedeur was. And for people to not make the correlation, and we having this conversation about Shedeur daily, tells you that they just choosing to be willfully blind. So we probably going to lose, Caden, we probably going to lose Juju if you get Staub, because once Staub becomes the starter, whether Coach Prime knows it or not, They're not gonna let Coach Prime move Ryan Staub out the way. And like Pat, what's his name? Mike Tomlin, who last year had two black quarterbacks, like Coach Prime had right now. He gonna have two white ones, just like Mike Tomlin has right now. See, they have a way of leaning on the coach. And I think that's what's happening. And if he don't pick their decision, they just gonna set up the season like they did when he went 4-8. So don't be surprised. I personally think if he's smart, he'll just keep Caden as the starter and rotate two in the game where need be. I would start the game with Caden, and if it don't work, I'll take him out. I will go forward with two quarterbacks all season because you're not going to undermine me. And I'm not talking about out of stubbornness. I'm talking about if Coach Prime allowed them people to push him around, he going to have to let go Juju because Juju not going to sit on the bench this year and next year. And people are going to see that he has no control, no power. This is a power grab. So, yeah, I could see Juju be gone. What the hell he going to stay for? And then when they get their way with Staub, they going to get their way with another white quarterback. It's number 14 on the bench. If they want him to be it, that's who's going to be it. People saying Coach Prime has to win, so he has to go with Staub. Y'all watch Staub play in a very short amount of time in a controlled environment that was pre-planned, that he had help with. Once them reads start moving out the way, the first read is gone, maybe. People talk about the Utah game. Did he win that game? In 2023, did he win the Utah game? I know he had an O-line, so he could have. I think he only put up 159 yards. Of course, he's grown. But, the fact that he was there first, so he should be it, is crazy to me. When we talking about a competition, and there were two podcasters on the same show, like a host and a co-host in Denver. I watched it because I normally don't watch people, but someone's like, I need you to watch this. I watched this. You know what they said when they talked about who gonna be the quarterback and Coach Prime needs to win, so it should be Staub, which is pressure. They said, yeah, Coach Prime was saying in his interview 2 weeks ago, and he was laughing at the media and asking how they had the audacity to ask who the quarterback is going to be. Right. See, Coach Prime didn't just say Caden is the starter and then we might see Juju. He basically told them, I don't know why y'all asking me who the quarterback is. There's no question as to who it is, which meant he stuck to his guns. But it meant that they asked the question because they didn't like his decision that they knew he was going to make, because they saw who he was talking about all summer long, Caden and Juju. And seemingly, if I had to go by Caden's story, he's walked back that decision. He better play them both. He better play them both. And honestly, you just got to take what comes, because see, the whole point of this is you can't act like racism don't exist and put all of these people around you. Bring people from the NFL, and you surprised why you can't stop the run. You surprised why the Georgia Tech game went the way it did. That means that you didn't believe that the NFL was racist. That means that you believe there are zero offensive coordinators who are black because maybe they just not qualified. That means you believe it would happen to them and not to you. And it's happening to you. The exact same thing that's happening to your son is happening to you. So he could possibly be gone. Instead, I still believe that the Ravens will beat the brakes off the Browns. Yep. Feel free to drop your comments. I mean, your projected score. It said Nicole Randall, you're on point. Good thing Cam had an interview discussing his friendship. Yeah, they trying to pit them together. They try to pit. Look at how they tried to intimidate the black players like Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy from coming towards Shedeur. And I looked up Tony Brown today. You see what happened to him. They had just signed him in March. That's retaliation. That need to be looked into. He should file a grievance, but I don't know if it would work. To be honest, I'm not interested in nothing the Browns did. I get it. It said Burrow wasn't playing hard. He was trying to look like he looked high to me. I saw it. I was like, I look at the numbers. I'm like, okay, but then I watched the game. I'm like, you could dissect the stats and see what's going on there. It said, I hope the officials don't help Cleveland with those questionable calls like they did to help Buffalo. Don't be surprised. And the Browns and the Ravens game, anything is up when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Anything is up. It said they tried to threaten taking away Jada Daniels' main weapon. Yep. And they sent that little O-line fella from Texas over there to where he is too. You see how they try to disrupt the team? They've been doing this for so long. If you were a Tennessee Titans fan and you know what happened to Steve McNair after they almost won the Super Bowl, they split that team up. Why would you do that? After Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, split the team up. When it's the black quarterback and they ain't cooking, split the team up. Take a weapon away. Sophomore slump gonna cause them a problem because they're gonna set him up. Browns beat the Ravens last year. I need the Ravens defense to get to Flacco a few more times. Okay. It's the damn good point. Plus, Ravens are celebrating their 30th anniversary, so they will bring the noise after last week lost. Yep, they better. Flacco is an interception machine. Right. And they know that. And Cleveland media was saying, if Flacco starts turning the ball over, they gonna put Dylan in. I was like, was Dylan in it? How many times he got to turn it over for Dylan to get in there? I mean, how many times does he have to turn it over for Dylan to get in there? Let's be honest. If Flacco starts turning the ball over, there's no hesitancy to put in Dylan. That tells you they don't trust Dylan. Dylan is a wedge to keep Shedeur. Just somebody to put in between Shedeur and Flacco. That's all Dylan is. It said these boys Ravens plan to win a Super Bowl, not play with the Cleveland Clowns. We shall see. It said I heard the Ravens are the original Cleveland Browns. Lord have mercy. What? Oh yeah, the Art Modell thing. Then before him they moved the team to Baltimore. I think you might be right in terms of geography and moving around. I think you might be right. It said they had Gage listed as not playing on the list with Shedeur. Is that for the game that's up and coming? Amber, let me know. The original owner did move to Baltimore, so that's what it was. It said, Miss Pamela, back in the 70s, the Browns moved from Cleveland to Baltimore and took the city name. And that's what the lawsuit is about right now. The Art Modell law, or whatever they call it, says that you can't take the name. And the Cleveland Browns want to move to Brook Park and take the name. And I think a judge dismissed the Browns' claim that the law, the Art Modell ordinance or whatever it is, did not apply to them. A judge said it did. So we'll see what happens. Right. Put Dylan in. Yeah. I don't want you to push you doing that. Put Dylan in there. You went with him first, so put him in there. I don't think they want to put him in there. 45 pass attempts of clip and dunk 5 to 7 yards out routes and bubble screens. Yeah. Who that sound like? Who does that sound like? People said, please stop with these bubble screens. People were pointing out when it came to Caden, and I think that's why Caden is upset. And I don't blame him, right? Caden is upset because you knew your situation. You knew what Colorado was like. I didn't. I just want to play football. And I know you had to know these people had some opposition to me and Juju. See, understand when you say let's start, they ain't talking about just this year. They trying to overturn both of the decisions. I bet right now, if you go out there and ask somebody who know what I'm talking about, well, who gonna be the starter next year if Staub is the starter this year? They're gonna tell you Ryan Staub. Because then that's his NFL year. And he said he ain't interested. But neither was Stetson Bennett, and he in the NFL. See, in their world, you got to go along with what they want you to do, even if you look like them, because that's how they keep it all together. Like, look at Arch Manning. He said he wasn't coming out of school, right? Then the little Venmo scandal came out. Looked like he might be coming out of school. He said he was going to take it day by day. That's how they make you change your mind. They lean on their people too. But we get embarrassed and humiliated and kicked out and this, that, and the other. They get talked to. Oh, you don't want to go along with this? Like Quinn Ewers. Why they didn't get him to go along with it? Why it had to be Jackson Dart and Tyler Shaw? Because they knew they could control Jackson Dart and Tyler Shaw. DeMaurice Smith, the guy book that I'm reading, Turf Wars, he was just on the Breakfast Club. He said this is about control. The NFL doesn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. They can't control everything that comes with Shedeur. They can't control his celebrity. They can control the mayonnaise because they feel like they gave it to him and they are the chosen ones. So they're going to put them out there. They don't want to choose Shedeur, but the fans have chosen Shedeur. And I said before the season started, the NFL going to end up going to war with its fans. And the NFL has some responsibility to help Cleveland be propped up, just like Cleveland trying to prop up Dylan and Joe Flacco. That's why I think this Cleveland Bengals game, it's not a one-off. I think they intentionally didn't go 100%. So that tells you that if they didn't put Dylan in when Flacco threw 2 interceptions, how bad it has to be for him to get in there. So you're going to put him in there when it's really bad. 2 interceptions wasn't enough for you. You need 3 interceptions. So the score got to be down 21 points. And then you're going to put Dylan in. I don't believe that for 5 seconds. That's what they said out loud because they want to kick Shedeur and slap him in the face. But you ain't going to tell me you're going to let Joe Flacco be down by 3 touchdowns via turnovers, and then you're going to prop Dylan up with some checkdowns. What is you doing? So don't be surprised if you see Shedeur during the Ravens game. Just say I said it was going to happen. Just put it in the chat wherever you are. That's what she said. Not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if it did because of what's at stake. Whenever it's something at stake, people get set up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It said Baltimore have a better defense than Cincinnati. It said they might Flacco. Baltimore have a better, the Ravens have a better defense than Cincinnati. They might Flacco out the game because his old body can only take so much. Right. You let the man get sacked twice already. You said if he start turning the ball over, that's 2 interceptions and 2 sacks. And you still didn't put Dylan in. But you out here trying to rush up Quinshon Judkins because you going to turn the ball over to him. And that's when you going to put Dylan in. If another game happens when Quinshon Judkins get back, which could be the Ravens, because they don't care. They're like, you know the dude, just get on out there. If they put him out there and then Flacco turns it over twice and then you see Dylan, confirmed that you didn't see Dylan because they don't trust him in this Bengals game. It says sit back and wait, then be ready. Yep, that's all Shedeur got to do. And Johnny Manziel told us, like, he got comfortable, and they probably banking on the same thing. Johnny Manziel told us he got comfortable in the backup spot. In other words, your mind is different when you're a backup for a long time. You start to relax. So for Shedeur, I think he's a little different. I think he's going to stay ready 100% of the time because I do believe that he know they trying to set him up. So he going to be ready. And he going to surprise the hell out of them. He going to surprise that. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pick a game that they think Shedeur can't play in. Like so I said, Baltimore could be it because they did it to DTR. And they expect Shedeur route to go the same way, which means he out the league in 2 years. That's really what they expect. And it seems to me that the more humiliating for Shedeur, that's the game is going to be. But Baltimore, I guess if Shedeur played and Lamar Jackson lost, it would be humiliating for him as well. So it's like a 2-for-1. Flacco said he looks forward to the Ravens game. I believe the defense is going to tear him down. And the crazy part is when Flacco worked for the Ravens, when he was a quarterback for them, there was a headline that said Flacco was holding back the Ravens. You know how long ago that was? And now Cleveland want him to be the part-time savior. $13 million in incentives. That's why he got off of his couch. Flacco going to need a week off after week 3. Yeah, when is their first bye week? He going to need it. Chandra McDonald, hey, everybody, how you doing? It says Shedeur will get playing time this year because Flacco sucks. That's what I'm thinking. And I don't think Dylan know better. I really think that Dylan, who you don't even trust to put in while Flacco's sneaking it up, is going to be better than Shedeur. That means you know he not. I'm like, that means you know he not. You don't even trust Dylan to get in after Flacco have thrown 2 interceptions and been sacked twice. What else you need? What else you need? You know Flacco ain't gonna last, but for about what 6 games, and you really gonna turn it over to Dylan? No, you're gonna turn it over to Quinshawn Junkins. That's why you gave him his guarantees, because you need him, but you tried to play him. It said the player that assaulted Shiloh was probably paid to come in and make sure Shiloh going out right. And they threw him. And it's funny how they use people and toss them out. I said to myself today, I said it's a lot of people that should kind of want to talk and give their anonymous story for a book interview, because it's a lot of people being used and discarded. That's what I noticed. That's crazy. Like, that's bold to use, like the whole goon squad that took down Shedeur. You let all of them go, and don't none of them want to talk. Because I have questions. I'm like, so now, did you know you were going to get waived before the game? And what happened when Shedeur got sacked? Like, anything you could tell me, I won't tell nobody who told me. I just say it was an anonymous source. The NFL is due for a book called Anonymous Source. That's what it's due. It's due for a book about the NFL. Feel free to use it. You can even do an ebook called Anonymous Source, and you run around and you get all this information from these anonymous sources, and you have receipts, of course, and you put it out there. Anonymous Source. That's what you need to call it. That's what you need to call it. It said Ben Johnson with the Bears. Okay, yeah, that's what you was talking about, Nicole. It said I have been thinking it is politically driven. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what Damari Smith was saying on the Breakfast Club. I didn't know if I could play it on here or not, because the Breakfast Club belongs to a podcast network like iHeartRadio, and it could be, I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted, like ESPN. But what he said was that it's about control. But the part that stood out to me the most was how he talked about when the guys get drafted. He said it irked him, it irritated him, it ate him up for the guys to walk on stage and hug Roger Goodell. He like, what you hugging him for? And I know they thinking that thank you for the opportunity that you chose me. Damari Smith is like, no, they need you. And it's true. The NFL needs the players. It's actually documented that they believe they need the players' athleticism to be successful. You know, they can have an all-white league if that's what they wanted to do, but they want to keep it at just enough. So Damari Smith is basically saying, shake his hand and move on. This is a mutual exchange. They're not giving you nothing, and they're not, because their contract's not guaranteed, and you got to fight for it. And you got to be in a situation like Quinshawn Junkins, if you're black or, first round pick, but then you're going to be belittled some way, somehow, like Cam Newton, with his coach belittling him. Anything to take you off of what they see is a pedestal, which makes you sit up higher than them. So Damari Smith book is good. It's on Spotify. Go check it out. Turf Wars. He said, Roger Goodell not giving you anything. He not. When you hear people say these big contracts and you hear, $30 million for a year or two or whatever, if it don't say fully guaranteed, and even if it say fully guaranteed, remember, they have voids. They have situations. They have things that are outlined in their contracts that could void that guarantee. I wonder if when Myles Garrett, how he took to Shedeur, then suddenly he got his 8th parking ticket. Now, mind you, speeding ticket. They didn't say nothing about the first 7. They didn't say nothing about the first 7. But after he told Shedeur, we're going to need you, he embraced Shedeur. Suddenly he got the 8th in a town where black people get stopped 6 times out of 10 more than white people. And it's only 2.5% of black people that live there. Strongsville. That's where Shedeur got stopped. I said, I wonder if they tried to take his guarantees. If they tried to say, well, we're going to have to void your guarantees if you, don't follow our rules, and looked over their glasses like the rules is to stay away from Shedeur. Think about how Jerry Jeudy didn't come near Shedeur. Think about how Tony Brown embraced him and got cut. You ain't going to tell me they weren't leaning on Myles Garrett. They don't want Shedeur to have no influence. So they figure I can't stop Shedeur celebrity, but I can stop the players from gravitating towards him. And that's what they're doing. Intimidation. Workplace malpractice. Yep. That's what it is. That's what it is. So it's just sad, right? It's that yes, Shedeur will have some playing time after Dylan Gabriel. He just needs more reps. Hey Gail, how you doing? It said who? It said politically driven meaning such blatant racism. Oh, that's what you mean? Oh, well, you can just say that here. Because that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's open. They openly racist. That's what they are. It said, I have lost respect for the minority Cleveland community. They appear to be complacent. Yeah, I don't think there's much going on up there. That's what I'm thinking. It said they are modern day buck breaking him. They are trying to. They are trying to. I'm not going to say they are. I'm going to say they are trying to. If they succeeded, then he would be in shambles, and he's not. He's not. They're trying to, though. I'll give you that. That's their effort. They keep trying to make the effort. It said they talked about Shedeur appearance to make sure he did not have to talk about Slow Joe performance. Yeah, probably so. Taking it out on Shedeur because of their bad decision. It said we always start the trends. Right, we do. And like I said, y'all remember those little slides that some of the girls used to wear, maybe more in the city, with the little fur on the top. And I remember people talking about on YouTube how, black women were wear those, right? Y'all know Nordstrom was selling them for $90. And the beauty supply store was selling them for $9. So it started with the beauty supply store and the girls going up there to get their braids or whatever. And they bought the shoes and they wore them and they just caught on because they was cute, I guess, right? But then when other people started selling them, instead of $9.99 at the beauty supply, they were selling them for $90 with the same fur puff on top of the shoe. And the models were white. That's like extensions. White women wear extensions, but black women get dragged for it. Same thing. White men wear jewelry, just like Jackson Dart, but Shedeur get dragged for it. NFL want to control everything. That's all it is. It said that's all it is. They're also making money off of what? Responses to their accusations. We must keep hyping up Shedeur. Right. I totally agree. It said the more Cleveland is trying to shut Shedeur down, the more fan base rises. That's it. Because they are trying to buck break him. Yep. It says Shedeur continues being himself and they don't like it. Right. He's unbothered. Look at this picture. This is the reason they're being eaten alive. They want him to be on the floor crying, throwing them a tantrum. See, that's their perspective. That's probably what they would do. But that's what they want him to do. They can't break him. And I know the NFL know he getting paid off those jerseys. So we're going to make sure. I don't know how I don't think we can find out anything because, they don't discuss the percentage. We don't know when they get paid. But it was funny. When he walked in with the must be the money Deion's on, I said, oh, he must have got that check from the jerseys. It's probably true. He probably got him a residual check from him or a revenue check or whatever you want to call it. Because he was wearing, it was like he was all covered up and all you could see was his shoe. And I like the shoe. It's like y'all just color my logo, right? So except for the yellow part. And it's called Deion, the must be the money Deion's. And I said, oh, he must have got one of those checks from them jerseys because he's smiling. He's smiling. CJ obsessed with the playbook. That's what they need to be. That's what they need to be. It said no Shedeur, no Cleveland, no local media that matters, right? It said we should expect the NFL to treat black quarterbacks awful. Right. Yeah. Their history. And DeMaurice Smith talked about that. I forgot what he said. Go listen to the podcast on the Breakfast Club. He talked about what it is that black players are thinking when they come in. I think it was the whole maybe hugging Roger Goodell. They don't like you like that. He say shake his man like a grown. He say shake his hand like y'all grown men conducting business together. Because that's what it is. It's a partnership. But the NFL wants them to feel like it's servitude. So I'm grateful you chose me. I got to give you credit. You can talk nonstop. You're going to be very good at content creator. Thank you, old man. I appreciate it. It said Cam was sacked 6 times. Yep. They said up. It said she's awesome, diverse content creator already. It said, I love her big, beautiful, intelligent brain. Thank you. It said, what are you trying to say? Oh man, don't get yourself blocked. Uh-oh. Don't do it. They don't play. They don't play. They don't play. They don't play. Somebody, I think he's new. That is hilarious. Oh man, 803. If you have a problem with her talking, you can leave the chat. Oh Lord, they got tools, oh man. They got tools. See the talking about he might be new. That's hilarious. Only way he thinks this week is if only way he plays this week is if Flacco and Dylan Gabriel get injured and can't go. I don't know. We gonna see CJ because I would have never thought that Dorian Thompson Robinson, a true 5th round pick who came out of college injured, who's no longer in the league after 2 years. I would have never thought that he would play against Baltimore as his first NFL game. That's a raw deal. And they used it against him. It said Juju going to the portal, probably. It said, good day, chat. Finally caught another live Nola girl. Yes, Perry. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Destroying is self-made, talented, creative, and makes more money on his own. Right. So Destroying, just in case you're not joining us, y'all know who Destroying is. The legend, the original content creator, if you ask me. When it comes to sports, Destroying just purchased 2 Fat Tuesday franchises. Y'all don't know what they are. Daiquiri franchises. There's one right here at the Battery in Atlanta. He bought 2 in Tempe, Arizona, which is college town. And I'm like, see, fellas, but I said, you know what? It's okay. Don't worry about the guys that's going. Just put it out there. Because, I want Shedeur to start his own 2 legendary 11v11. And I want Shiloh to have a team also. And I heard some guys on the Raw Room talking about a rec league. I'm like, when y'all going to just take a celebrity game and turn it into selling us some tickets to come watch it and streaming it? Just turn a corner. They already play celebrity games. Just turn a corner and stream it. Just turn a corner and be serious about it. Just turn a corner and market it 30 days before it happened with all of these other big podcasts out there. The arena with, what's his name? Gilbert Arenas. And what's the other guy named Skip Bayless? Already at 500 million views on their first episode, or 500,000 views, on their first episode. I mean, I don't know what else you need. But for the guys that's already, it's ingrained in them. Like Georgia State still want to come to the league. You're going to have to back down and get to the kids that's in high school and the kids that are in middle school and the kids that play pee-wee football. And just like people are teaching them to have self-worth, like in Georgia, there's a page, they ask the little kids, they look like they're 7. After every game, they ask them their social media. So they want them to think to get your social media going. Then when they get to high school, they now, when they are junior in high school, talking about where they're going to college, right? That's where in their freshman year, when they get to high school and they start taking all of these classes and they're athlete, parents need to start asking them, what you going to do with your NIL money? Don't talk about going to the league. Talk about what Destroying just did. Talk about how Gunner, who's not an athlete, just got an endorsement for Under Armour because he started a run club and somebody got his name outside on their gym. And it's nice. High class. All of it. Talk about how there are so many other avenues where you could go and be respected and make money and still be around sports. For those that like statistics, it's not enough of Black people, in my opinion, who are calling the games. That's what they need to be doing on these podcasts. Hell, I do it, but I would expect the guys who actually played to be hosting and doing this sort of thing. Yes, there's life after football, but there's life before instead of football. And you got to get these kids in high school so they can see Destroying, so they can see Gunner. Oh, I can still get an Under Armour deal without going to the league. Yes. I can still be wealthy. Yes, Destroying. You can even own your own team. You can do 1v1s. You can do 3-on-3s. Now they have 3-on-3s, 7-on-7. I'm just waiting on somebody to do an 11v11 and stream it. I reached out to a Black guy who has racehorses. And I saw, y'all know I grew up in New Orleans, so, racehorses, same thing. I saw where they were having something called like some kind of race and it's about money or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, do y'all stream your races? Because I'm gonna need to know about that. I'm gonna need to know about wait a minute, are you streaming your races, your independent races that are outside of these big sponsored races? Yeah, let's see if I get a response. I'll let you know what he said. But his horse was number two. Y'all know, y'all saw the thumbnail, number two, right? That's my number. Um, so it's so many ways that you can still be around sports. It's so many ways that you can still play football without the league that needs you but wants you to believe that you're subpar to them, that you're inferior to them. If I feel like, and it's my opinion based on what I see, that Pat Schumer is using dog whistles, cerebral. I like the way he plays quarterback. He thinks like a quarterback. He's bringing that to CU, right? And that's just openly racist because we can hear dog whistles too. And if he don't even care enough to watch how he's making Caden feel or Juju feel, then that should tell you to fix his end and he's a part of it. Juju not gonna be no red shirt freshman. He gonna get the hell on. You see, it's the same thing. Juju got to sit for 2 years. No, he don't. There are people that wanted Juju to start because the guy over there in Michigan, Bryce Underwood, is playing, and they looked at Cal and they got a freshman that started. There are people that wanted Juju to start because other freshmen are starting, and he's a 5-star, which means he's talented. Personally, I don't think he's being developed over there because he should have been ready for the pressure, and I don't think he was. Because I don't know if they practiced like that. And I don't know what the hell they did while Coach Prime was gone, but somebody clearly thought he wasn't coming back with the way things are happening. That they think they could, for whatever reason, all of a sudden, he makes a decision and they check him for it or they try to get him to change it. Why is that happening now? Juju should not be involved with the power grab mess. I agree. It said players should leave if they played, if played by Schumer. That's what's gonna happen anyway. That's probably what's gonna happen anyway. He lost that Utah game. Oh, okay. All right. So people feel like I thought he won it the way they was talking about it. I'm glad there's NIL, right? Because the NIL is the blessing. So you don't have to go to the league. You can turn out, you can go Destroying's path, where he went to the UFL, but he has his own league. He co-owns a team with Cam. He had his own team with what's his name? The rapper, I forgot his name. I don't know, Migos, whatever. Him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He co-owned a team with him, and now he co-owns a 3-on-3 with Cam. And Cam is serious about this 7-on-7. Like he got it the way it's supposed to be done. And I paid to get in, right? And you can get a pass for 2 days, or you can get a pass for 1 day. That's how it's supposed to be done. And it was a lot of people out there. So I just need somebody to take that concept and expand it to 11v11 and stream it. So maybe when Cam does his next time, when their season starts again, because I think it's over, maybe he'll stream his games. But if not, somebody needs to take that concept that he has for 7-on-7 with the multiple games happening at once. I just want you to play. 2 teams play each other just one time, and I just want you to stream it and make sure you have everybody out there have over 200,000 subs or views or something. I watched Diami Brown. He's one of Travis's teammates. He posted getting ready for the first game. People really like his content. I think if he cut the music out the background, he could be monetized. Now I'm starting to see college players, a day in the life of a D3 athlete on game day. I'm starting to see that more and more because these players are now, see where Colorado was when Shedeur and it was there? And it started with Shedeur, then Travis did it. Then Jordan Seaton did it. Caleb Mathis has his. Right? There's a market for that. There's a market for that. So for the guys that's hugging Roger Goodell, when you get waived, go out there and stream. Get 22 of y'all, go out there and stream 11v11. Ask Cam where to play it. Hell, inbox me and I'll tell you. It's stadium. You don't need 80,000 people because you're going to stream it first. You're going to get them interested. And then on the second game, you're going to have people on the sideline. And on the third game, you're going to be sold out because they watched the other 2 games and they're like, hey, we want to go. We want to go. And I want you to have the Odell Beckham Jr.'s out there if he's inactive. everybody that's way from the NFL. And for people who keep telling me in the comments, it'll never work, the NFL gonna shut it down. Hello. No. You see 7-on-7 is still active. What they gonna do is what they doing with 7-on-7. Take an interest in it. But don't sell. They can't shut you down. It's that right. If Schumer isn't gone, any black QB wouldn't have a chance. Right. That I mean, it's gonna be a long season if we don't win this game. I expect us to win this game. I expect the defense to do their job. Once I saw Reginald Hughes was the leader, and I didn't understand why he didn't really get a lot of playing time in the Delaware game, I'm like, I'm gonna need to see him out there. They're talking about they missed 12 tackles. I'm like, well, why was he not out there? Because he had 9 in the first half of the Georgia Tech game. He came out the door swinging. So I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna be watching. I want to see. See, I don't think it's all the players. I don't. I think it could be depending on how the personnel is selected, because obviously when they rotated everybody the second game, they did better. But the guy that came out swinging, he only had 1 tackle after having 9 in the Georgia Tech game. That don't work like that. That don't work like that unless he was injured. So I want to see. I'm gonna be watching the defense. Y'all gonna watch the offense. I'm looking at the defense because the numbers came out today and I shared them. No. The categories that we're 196 in, there's only 136 FBS team, and we're in the 100s for several categories on defense. So I feel like the quarterback conversation is a distraction. Just like in the NFL draft, talking about Coach Prime was a distraction from their actual racism to hold Shedeur back because he was supposed to be 17-32. 2023, Utah beat Colorado 23-17. Yep, Ryan Staub was in there. It said you definitely can't act like racism don't exist. Right. And you can't surround yourself with people. If you know racism don't exist, you are very particular about who it is that you isolate. That's the key word. Isolate yourself with. And the more you insulate with people, somebody gonna get you. Somebody gonna get you. So to me, that's acting like it don't exist because it's working for you, or so you think. See, it's working for you until it's not. I'm not sure what you're saying. Oh, demonic. Yeah. It said some black people fall for that trap all the time. Yeah. That's what Julian Johnson Law saying. It said, no, I meant the list from last Saturday. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm looking to see. Here it is right here. I think I have. Oh, that's you can read that on the screen. I don't know when the list comes out that they inactive. If anybody know, I feel like it's tomorrow. Thursday. We'll be looking. If I see it, I'll post it somewhere on X or in the YouTube community, or I'll talk about it when we go live. Thank you, Amber. It says, I believe Staub and Schumer were working behind Coach Prime's back when he was sick at home because Schumer wanted Staub to be. Yeah, you can tell Schumer wanted Staub to be the QB. You could tell he wasn't happy with. You could listen to his interview. You could listen at how he talked about their relationship. I don't care about your relationship. But see, that's how a lot of people conduct business. They said Shedeur was a Nepo baby. Okay, well, Ryan Staub is not related to Schumer, but you see Schumer helped him out, right? And then when people started calling out that Schumer helped him out, they were like, oh no, Shedeur helped him out too. Pitting Shedeur against Caden. When Shedeur and Caden in the same situation. And should not be. Should not be. I believe if the Browns lose, they will viciously attack the defense and the running backs. It said, this is why they paid Garrett to be a foul guy. Clearly, but he only had 5 sacks. And you saw the guy had, 8 from the Bengals. And I was looking at Baltimore. I had Baltimore open. I was looking at Baltimore's defense. I'll share this in the Bills game. Let's see. Because I was already looking to try to see what they did, even though I watched the game. but you're looking with a different lens right now. All right, so here we go. All right, so Baltimore team, 432 total yards. As you can see, they got most of the yards rushing, 194 passing, and 238 rushing. So they're gonna have a big run game. So defense gonna have to be on it if they want to win. And then they have 8.6 yards per play. That's a lot. I think what did they have 2.7 with the Bengals and 5 for the Browns. Let's see, first downs, 29 for the Bills, third down efficiency, sacks allowed. They allowed 2 sacks on Lamar, 1 on Josh. Penalties, 7 of 51, and 1 was with Zay Flowers, and that one hurt. That's when the tide turned. Fumbles lost. They lost 1 fumble. That's there you go. You see? No interceptions though. And 25 of 11, no interceptions. So they even didn't have the ball a lot. Look at what Lamar did. Let's see. So Lamar only had 19 passes. How many did Josh have? I mean, Flacco had 45 reps for the most part. 45. And he had 290 yards. And Lamar only has 19 for 209. You see? You see? That means you're not good. That's what that means. You're not good. Look at the score. 40. Yeah, I know they lost, but that ain't on Lamar. And that's the thing that gets me about this whole Bengals Bills, right? When Lamar Jackson is the quarterback and Mark Andrews or Derrick Henry drop the ball or can't hold on to it, Lamar Jackson can't win the big ones. So that's why I said if Shedeur play in this game, do not be surprised. Yeah. So now let's see. Let's see their defense. Raquan Smith was similar to the guy with the Bengals. Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, this is even still better than the Browns because remember, I think he had 2 sacks though. Myles Garrett had 2 sacks, but he had 5 tackles and 2 assists or something like that. They're highest, so they're a bit more intense. So okay, Baltimore Ravens defense is more intense. That's the takeaway from this exercise. So again, I still think Baltimore could run away with this game by 35 or something like that. But we're going to see who they put on the inactive list. And I think once Shedeur goes on the inactive list, they can't take him off for the game. Is that how that works? Let me know if you know. It said it wasn't in was in the 90s. It wasn't like it was in the 90s. In order to leave Cleveland, the city sued Modell, so he couldn't take the name. He couldn't take the Browns' name and stats. Right. So there's some type of Art Modell ordinance. And if you're from Cleveland, you probably could tell us more about it, where the Browns are trying to get around it so they can take the name and move it to Brook Park. But if you're from Cleveland, let us know. None of the interceptions were his fault. Flacco played a solid game. Yeah, okay. He got sacked twice. How do you play a solid game? It says Saab was not given any bubble screen calls, right? Nope, no bubble screens. None. Opened the offense up. Slowed Salter down. It said, to please Schumer, Prime said he was going to play all 3 quarterbacks on Saturday, regardless of how Kader Salter looks. Each QB was going to play 2 series. That is wrong for Salter by not sticking with him. Right. And I feel like, it's wrong to do that. A lot of people feel like it's wrong to do that because, first of all, you don't move away from your starter after a bad game. But Georgia Tech clearly wasn't his fault. That was Pat Schumer's doing. And now you know why he did it. That's why Schumer should not be working there. But maybe, like Shedeur, being out the way, maybe it's best, even if this is his last year and he need to go play a grad year, or he need to understand the NFL going to do the same thing. This is where Kader Salter gets a rude awakening to how the NFL operates, because are these not NFL people? See, there's a 2 sides to that NFL coaching. They bring the culture with them too. And Pat Schumer is definitely emulating the Cleveland Browns and how Shedeur was being treated. And it's dirty to put Caden in the same situation as Shedeur with Coach Prime as the head coach. For so many reasons. For so many reasons. All right, y'all, we're going to get ready to get out of here. This was good. I don't know what game we're watching this weekend. I know Friday, What She Said Sports Lounge is going live. We're watching Colorado versus U of H. I expect Colorado to beat U of H. I expect us to stop the run. I really don't care who the quarterback is because everybody can hand off the ball to the running back. So that means the quarterback situation is not in crisis. And Coach Prime already made a decision about Caden. And Coach Prime today preached consistency in his team meeting, which means he's looking for consistency at the quarterback position. So let's see what he chooses, right? It's probably going to be Staub that some people say. Some people think it should still be Salter. I think since you in a bind, these people trying to undermine you, and they're going to set Caden up because you clearly can't stop it because you couldn't stop it with Shedeur. You can't stop it now. And the only person that's not being set up is Salter. Is Staub. I say you roll with them both. That's what all the way out. Because here's the thing. If he puts Staub in and he don't look good, then it shows you're going to have to flip-flop back to Caden. And that's not a good look for Coach Prime. He made a decision. Going to Staub is walking it back. Then you turn it on Caden. People going to see that. Then what type of situation are you putting Juju in? Because if you name Staub the starter, he going to move off the number one spot next year for Juju. So you going against two decisions you have made. You are overturning two decisions you have made. And you turning yourself into Mike Tomlin. Meaning you don't have no power. You can just call the plays, I guess, or something like that. So we're going to be back tomorrow, guys. This was good. This was good. This was good. Our guy, as long as we see him happy, as long as we see Shedeur happy, as long as we see him smiling, this is what it is, right? This is guy winning. This is telling us that he's better off over there on the bench because he going to be like Cam. Y'all say Cam got sacked how many times? Before the draft, the question was when Shedeur was the number one quarterback coming out in October or when he was supposed to be going to the Browns pre-draft. The question was, how many times was Shedeur Sanders going to be sacked if Caleb was sacked 68 times? That's what people were saying. So he better off where he is. But don't be surprised if they throw him into the fire. That's what they would see it as against Lamar Jackson. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. This was awesome. Thank y'all. Cleveland just gonna have to hold this L to next week, and they probably gonna be holding another L because I don't see the Ravens losing to the Browns, but I do think the NFL is helping them out a little bit because they kind of have to, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But Friday, if you're gonna join us, we have a members-only live stream. It's already scheduled. Look for your notification. 6 o'clock. We'll go to 6 to 7. And I think U of H comes on at 8. Then we'll be live for the game. So you can join us. If you don't have ESPN, then go get a day pass from Sling TV. And it's $4.99 plus tax $5.40. You can watch the game. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. We're going to let New Orleans Vibe take us out of here. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for the engagement. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.